There are champions who dominate a season. Then there are champions who define an entire era. But how do you describe a player so good? His greatness was almost taken for granted. In the 1990s, Pete Sampras was that player. Calm, unshakable, and relentless. He became the standard by which all others would be measured. But in the echo chamber of modern tennis, his legend is sometimes overshadowed by debates about Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic. So, how good was Pete Sampras really? By the end of this story, you'll understand why even today's greatest stars still speak his name with awe. And you'll be shocked at what the icons of today actually say about Pete when no one is watching. Humble beginnings and an unlikely path. Pete Sampras was born on August 12, 1971 in Washington, D.C., the son of Greek and Jewish immigrants. His family moved to California when Pete was 7, chasing sun, hope, and better opportunities. In their new home, Pete's world became a garage wall, a tennis ball, and endless repetition. By age 11, Pete was obsessed. He'd already started dreaming in serves and volleys. While most kids chased friends in video games, Pete chased the perfection of a one-handed backhand. A move so old school, even his coaches were skeptical. But Pete, always quiet and stubborn, insisted. He wasn't chasing trends, he was chasing timelessness. At 16, Pete turned professional. The journey was rough, marked by losses, long travel, and doubt. But with every defeat he learned, he grew taller, stronger, more patient. He rose from world number 893 to number 97 in his rookie year, an unheard-of leap that had insiders buzzing. The youngest U.S. Open champion. In 1990, tennis changed forever. A 19-year-old Pete Sampras marched into the U.S. Open facing legends like Ivan Lendl and John McEnroe, household names, veterans, gladiators. But Pete wasn't intimidated. His serve became a weapon, his nerve a shield. In the final, he faced Andre Agassi, the showman, the crowd favorite. Pete destroyed him in straight sets, becoming the youngest U.S. Open men's champion in history. He didn't shout, didn't boast. He simply lifted the trophy, eyes steady as if to say, "I'm just getting started." Years of domination. What followed was nothing short of an empire. Between 1993 and 1998, Pete finished every single season as world number 1, a record no man has ever matched. He racked up 14 Grand Slam singles titles, including 7 Wimbledons, 5 U.S. Opens, and 2 Australian Opens. He ruled grass like a monarch, and his serve and volley style became the stuff of legend. Rival after rival, Jim Courier, Stefan Edberg, Boris Becker, Goran Ivanisevic, Michael Chang, and especially Andre Agassi fell in Pete's path. Agassi would later say that Sampras's calm in pressure moments was inhuman. Becker called Pete's serve the greatest shot in tennis. While fans fell for the drama of Agassi's antics or the fire of McEnroe's rants, Pete was the quiet storm. He walked onto center court with his signature Wilson racket and left with another trophy, week after week, year after year. Some called him boring. Others just called him the GOAT, long before the term went mainstream. Rivalries and the art of war. But Pete's journey wasn't without challenge. The 90s were a golden age for rivalries. His battles with Andre Agassi became instant classics, a clash of personalities and styles. Agassi all color and chaos versus Pete, all precision and ice. They met 34 times, including 4 Grand Slam finals. Sampras won 20, Agassi 14. Their matches were more than tennis. They were psychological wars. The 1995 U.S. Open final remains legendary. Pete was sick, barely able to breathe, but he still outserved and outfought Agassi to claim the title. Boris Becker, another rival, once ruled Wimbledon. But Pete dethroned him, most memorably in their 1995 5-set battle. Becker later admitted, "When Pete was serving, you just prayed for a double fault." The mental game and the boring myth. To understand Pete Sampras, you have to understand what wasn't visible. While others fed off the crowd, Pete shut out the world. He never smashed rackets or screamed at umpires. His mental game was a fortress. Breakpoints, tiebreakers, championship sets. These were his comfort zone. He was a perfectionist, sometimes to a fault. Every practice session, every diet rule, every minute of extra sleep, Pete was relentless about the small things. He'd later reveal that he sometimes felt lonely at the top, that the pressure was immense. But on court, he was unbreakable. And still, some called him boring, as if making greatness look routine was somehow a flaw. The passing of the torch. By the late 1990s, the world began to change. Surfaces slowed, rallies grew longer, new names arrived, Lleyton Hewitt, Murat Safin, and a teenage Roger Federer. In 2001, Wimbledon saw a match for the ages. 4th round, Pete Sampras versus Roger Federer. For 5 sets, the old champion and the young pretender traded blows. Federer won, and the world watched a torch being passed. not just between players, but between eras. Yet Pete wasn't quite done. The fairy tale goodbye. The critics said Pete was finished. Injuries had piled up. His ranking had slipped. Commentators whispered about retirement. But at the US Open, something stirred. Match after match, Sampras played vintage tennis, serving, volleying, winning. In the final, he faced Agassi one last time. Under the lights of New York, in front of a roaring crowd, Pete defeated his old rival to win his 14th Grand Slam. He walked off the court quietly, letting the moment and his legacy do the talking. He never played another ATP match. He retired at the very top, a privilege granted to only a rare few. Life after tennis, 2002-2025. Unlike many sports legends, Pete Sampras did not chase the limelight. He married actress Bridget Wilson. They settled in California, raising two sons, Christian and Ryan. Pete played occasional exhibition matches, dabbled in senior tours, but never fully returned to public life. Over the years, he was honored at Grand Slams, gave rare interviews, and quietly donated to charities, especially for children's hospitals and cancer research, in memory of his longtime coach, Tim Gullickson. He appeared at Federer's record-breaking moments, smiling in the crowd as his own legacy was celebrated, not erased. He offered wisdom to younger American players, like Andy Roddick and Taylor Fritz, but always preferred to be a mentor in the shadows, not the spotlight. In 2020, Pete faced new challenges. His wife battled ovarian cancer. He stood by her side, rarely speaking publicly, focusing on family and privacy. Bridget made a full recovery, and Pete became even more committed to charity and to enjoying life's simple pleasures, coaching his kids tennis, golf, and cheering quietly for his favorites at Wimbledon from his living room. By 2025, Pete Sampras remains a tennis icon. He makes rare public appearances, always humble and gracious, often refusing interviews. He is the living definition of let your achievements speak for themselves. Sampras' legacy and the modern game. When Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic began breaking records, many wondered if Pete's greatness would fade. Instead, it grew. Federer often credits Sampras for inspiring his all-court game. Novak Djokovic has said that Pete's serve was his blueprint. Nadal has called Pete the standard-bearer of professionalism. The tennis world now debates, would Sampras have dominated today's era? Would the big three have survived in the 90s, when serve and volley was king? Coaches show young players clips of Pete's perfect technique, his motion, footwork, his nerves of steel. His 6 consecutive year-end #1 finishes? Still unmatched. His 14 majors, earned in just over a decade? Still jaw-dropping in hindsight. He's the reason every new American hopeful is called the next Sampras. A compliment, but also a weight. So, how good was Pete Sampras, really? He was the master of his era, the silent assassin, the legend who made history look inevitable. He played for the love of the game, not the love of the spotlight. He walked away on his own terms, and in every sense, his achievements grew taller as the years went by. Today, in 2025, Pete Sampras stands as a symbol, not just of dominance, but of class. Not just of records, but of quiet greatness. And if you ask Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, or any rival from his era, they'll tell you the same thing. Pete Sampras set the bar, and the sport is still trying to catch up. So, next time someone asks you how good Pete Sampras was, tell them this: he was so good, even the greatest call him a legend. If you enjoyed this story, like and subscribe for more powerful tennis documentaries. And let us know in the comments, do you think Pete Sampras would dominate in today's game, or would the big three have survived his era? Stay tuned for our next episode, where we reveal the untold truth about the Andre Agassi rivalry and how it changed tennis forever.